Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Hey, girl.
Hi, how are
I'm
you?
doing amazing. How are you?
I I am amazing. I am blessed. Look, I am highly favored. I am everything and above.
All of that.
Yes.
Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you as well.
So, how was your holiday?
My holiday was actually very good.
Yeah.
My kids, I think the best part is just seeing my kids happy,
Mm-hmm.
especially since what we've gone through in these last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Me still being able to provide for them, and them not even realizing what's going on behind closed
Right.
doors and are just happy. It just makes me happy.
Yeah.
There's that meme that was going around, with that mom, they're saying the mom on Christmas morning sitting on the couch with her cup of coffee and her bonnet and her robe on, like looking like, yes, I did that to my babies. That was me in the spirit.
Yes.
That was me.
I love it. Well, I briefly introduced you. What I want to do now is to take an opportunity for you to just, say who you are today as a woman, as a mom. And then I'm going to ask you to let's rewind the tapes a little bit and let's talk about the traumatic life event that occurred for you. And then you can bring it full circle for us to where you are now today.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. My name is Tyra. Tyra Randle, for those of you who don't know, or and if you do know me, hi. Um, I'm a 31-year-old. I keep forgetting how old I am because I just turned 31. So I'm a 31-year-old female. I'm a mom, a single mom, paraplegic. I am now in a wheelchair, so I'm disabled as well. And I'm just a woman of God, a woman who drifted away, and God reeled me back in, quick, fast, in a hurry. And I'm just a woman who is want to see other women win, and I want to help others. I'm a woman of determination, persistence, resilience. Yeah, and I just love my baby. So
Yes.
those are the main
Yes.
things.
Yes, I just want to say before we get started that I want to say thank you. Thank you for saying yes, for being a part of this project. Thank you for being willing to come and tell your story, and that could possibly save another woman or, or man for that matter. It could change a man's mind as well.
Yes.
So I just want to thank you in advance for your yes.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for having me because it's an honor. So I'm very honored and very humbled to be a part of this and what you're doing, given the platform for other people to speak their truth. Because, like you said, speaking your truth is healing.
Mm-hmm.
And so just thank you for just the opportunity that you give to others.
Well, thank you, honey. Let's take it back though. Let's go back to when trauma entered your life.
Trauma entered my life January 15th of 2020. Um, at that time, my son was about 7 weeks old. My daughter was 11, just turned 11, at that time. And on that day, I was shot 8 times by my ex, by my son's father, which left me paralyzed. That's the reason why I'm a paraplegic to this day. And it's not like I was in an abusive relationship. He's never put his hands on me. He's never called me out of my name, but there was those little signs that were there, those narcissistic ways that he had. That's one of the reasons why we parted ways in the first place, because I just needed my peace. I prayed and asked God for my peace, but I didn't know I was going to get it this way. But
So, so honey, let me just stop you really quickly because this blows my mind that that happened to you. And the first thing that I thought was what you cleared up already was he abusive? Like you didn't see this coming is what you're saying. Like this was like totally out of left field.
it was
Like
totally.
What led up to it?
He stalked me for a couple of days. I didn't answer my phone. We got into a little argument. He's that type of person that does something to see what your reaction is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And since I didn't feed into the reaction, that just kind of ticked him off. And
Were you
for
all up at this time or still
that
together?
we were broken up at that time.
Okay.
We broke up in, well, he moved out of our apartment that we shared like that November.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he was still coming over off and on, after I had my son, just, trying to work things out.
And it's
But
his son as
yes,
well. That's the son you all
yeah.
together. Okay.
Which the crazy part about it is he shot me. I was like centimeters away from my son. That's how I got hit in the back, because I jumped and moved out of the way, so he wouldn't get hit. And I covered him up with a pillow. And the crazy part about this whole situation is he's in jail now. We haven't gone to trial yet. But one of his emails that he's sent me some emails from prison, told me that my son should not be outside running around with sandals on because he can fall and hurt himself. This is coming from the person who shot me 8 times, centimeters away from him. Like bullets have eyes or something.
So you and your children are at your apartment
Mm-hmm.
in January of 2020.
Mm-hmm. My daughter opens up the door to leave for school, and when she opens up the door to leave for school, I hear her gasp, like, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm behind her because I'm about to close the
So
door.
she obviously knows who he is because he was living there
Yes,
with you all.
yes, of course, of course.
Right.
Um, and it's like, I'm not that type of person just to bring anyone around my kids.
Right.
It took a while for even that to happen, but yes. So she opened up the door and he was right there. And then when I heard her gasp is when I came around the door. And she was like, well, oh, and I was like, what are you doing here? And he kind of like barged his way in and came into my apartment. And then he was like, where's my son at? I'm like, well, he's in the back sleep. And then my daughter, mommy's protector, is like, why, what are you doing here? Because she knows what just went on. Like the day before, a couple of days before, he like tried to run me off the road and all that other type of stuff. Yeah, because I never answered my phone. I never fed into his antics that he had going on. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah, ran. He came in. I told my daughter to go ahead and go to school. And he was like, no, go to your room. He told my daughter to go to her room. And then my daughter was like, why? Like, I need to go to school. And I told her, like, baby, just go to your room. Look, I don't feel like going through this. So I guess as he was going back there to the baby, he asked my daughter where her iPad was. And she was like, why do you want my iPad? It's not like you can make calls on it. Like you can
Right.
call random people if you're not, iPhone or iPad or whatever. And so I guess he took her iPad. He came in the room. And this point in time, I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, right? And then he comes into the room and then he asked me, where's my phone at? And I was like, why do you want my phone?
Right.
And then, because the last time he did that while we was broken up, he tried to get my phone and he texted somebody who I was talking to at that point in time, telling them, acting like he was me, telling them like, hey, I'm gonna work things out with my baby father. And yeah, it was complete nonsense then. But see, like I took narcissistic ways. Like the signs were there, the red flags were there. It just I wasn't paying attention because I never thought it would have gone this far. But as he reached over for my phone, he grabbed it and said, I told you so. And then that's when he just started shooting me.
Wow.
He, yeah, no matter how many times I said to stop or anything, he just started shooting me.
And the crazy thing is, I'm trying to just imagine this, Tyra. you, because he wasn't like physically abusive, you weren't like thinking that he was about to hit you or anything like that.
No,
Like, did you know he had a gun
no, did
on him?
not know. No, I did not know. But I did notice he had, and this still gets me to this day. Like, I still have problems with people having one hand in their pocket. You know, I know it's cold here in the Midwest. It's cold here in Kansas City, you know, and people have their hands in their pockets. But when I see a person with their hands in their pocket, I freeze up. You know, I've been working on that in therapy, but it's still, you know,
PTSD.
it is hard. It's a traumatic experience. Like, the
Yeah.
person that you thought, you know, that you loved once upon a time and is supposed to protect you, you
Yeah,
know,
the
try to
mother
kill
of
you.
your child.
Yeah, try to kill you because he didn't get his way. And you would think he's my age. Okay, I'm 31. Okay, you would think he's my age. He's 13 years my senior. Yeah.
Wow. Any past, to your knowledge, any past history of like violence or shooting anyone else, or
Crazy.
was this just like uncharacteristic of
And this
him?
is the crazy part about this whole entire situation. Me and one of my close friends, when I first started talking to him, you know, we sat down one day and you know, we did a background check on him. We could get on this thing called CaseNet,
Mm-hmm.
and you can look up to see if anybody has like any charges for anything petty, from a parking ticket to something major,
Everybody
you know.
used to do that for everybody that was dating. Oh no, we lost her. We're gonna get her right back. Let me send her a thing. You all hang in there.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's like my fat finger, I don't know, I swiped it over on accident. I
It's
don't know why.
okay.
Because I talk with my hands, so obviously I'm moving my hands and everything is just moving.
No,
But
it's fine.
yeah, but we did a case net on him. I remember sitting there because I worked night shift. We sat there on a night shift, sat there and watched and looked for stuff. We did not find anything. Come to find out, after he did all of this to me, he did this when I think I was in high school or middle school. It was a long time ago, okay? It was a long time ago, to the
Mm-hmm.
point where he had served 10 years for something domestic violence. And then my
Ah,
cousin, that I'm real close to, her sister went on and she went and did some research and found the girl, who it was, and things like that. Like, I honestly want to reach out to her to see what happened and what
yeah,
transpired, like what happened then all those years ago. Um,
me too.
to I don't I really want to. I'm waiting to after all this
Right,
trial and everything
right.
is, but I really want to reach out to her to see, like, hey, like, I mean, I know this happened in probably like the 90s or so. It was a long time ago. Like, literally, I think it was the 90s. But what happened? Like,
Right. What
what
happened?
happened? So eventually we have her information. We know who she is, thanks to my FBI cousin. But she found her, did all that. But it's crazy how it did not pop up on CaseNet. Like,
Yeah, that is
like
crazy.
if that's the case, for one, would have never had my child around him. For two, I would never had a child with that
What?
person. But yeah, that was, yeah. And then there was so many red flags there. Like, I remember one time, like, like I said, I worked night shift. I worked at a hospital. He heard some guy flirting with me that worked at the hospital in the background that I usually work out with in the gym. So I guess he decides one day to come up to the hospital and confront this guy at like 2 o'clock in the morning in the employees' gym. How he knows where the employees' gym is, I have no idea. But he told me you can see from at nighttime, if you're in the garage, you can see from the garage into the into the hospital, into the gym. So that's probably why he figured out where it was
Right.
at. But yeah, he's like it's so many signs. Like the time he like slashed, like this is after he moved out, and I was like literally about to give birth to my son. Like he like slashed the tires on my car. He called the police and made false police reports that I tried to run him off the road. And he when he moved out, I changed the locks. So he came back, a couple of days later for what? Like when he moved out, he like took all the baby clothes, he took everything, the diapers, he took everything. Like he even took the shower liner in the restroom, okay? Petty. This is real petty. But he wanted me to call him and reach out. I'm not that type of person. I'm independent. I had my daughter. I was a junior in high school. I've taken care of her as a single parent and done what I needed to do. I don't, if anybody, I have my father in my life. If any man I'm going to call, if it's not Jesus, it's going to be my dad.
Dad. That's
So,
right.
but yeah, he wanted me to call him and I didn't do anything. Like my cousin came over. She went with me. We went to Target. I went and bought everything and replaced all the baby clothes, all the baby diapers. I replaced everything. I don't need, there's a difference between needing and wanting somebody.
Money.
So
Yeah.
I didn't call him. No. So, uh, so he
Wow.
came back. I guess he couldn't get into the house. He decided to break the old key off into the new lock, so I couldn't get into my apartment.
So there were signs. These were signs
These
leading up.
were signs. Yeah, these were signs that were leading up to this.
Yep.
I should have paid attention to. But in the midst of all of this, I was dealing with my stepdad that was dying of lung cancer.
Mm.
Okay. I was his power of attorney.
Mm.
With dual power of attorney, but came in to be his power of attorney because he got to a point where we had to make that decision. And he died December 23rd of 2019. Funeral was January 4th of 2020. So I had to plan a funeral, do all of this and do all of that. And then I get shot January 15th. So like I'm at the hospital. I don't have no reception at the hospital. I'm at the hospital and he pops up at the hospital. Like, where, for one, how do you know what room I was in?
Wait. So he shot. So he shot you 8 times.
Yeah, but he didn't know. He didn't pop up at the hospital after I got shot.
Okay.
He popped up at the hospital
With your step.
with my stepdad.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, he turned himself in right after he shot me. They said he turned himself in. I guess he went home, changed, hid the gun, did whatever he needed to do, and then he went to go turn himself in. Because obviously I have brothers. My brothers, they went after him.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So he probably figured I might be safer turning myself in.
Yeah.
Because
So he
it's going to come for me.
Yeah, he turned himself in, but he didn't admit to shooting me. What he said was, I heard someone shot my son's mother, and I may be a suspect because of the things that had happened in the last couple of days. So that's what he said. And only how I know that is because I had to hire another attorney because insurance purposes. I had to sue him because of insurance purposes. My insurance won't cover anything because a third party cost it until after I go after the third party.
Wow.
Which is crazy, right? Crazy.
How did you, okay, so you're shot 8 times. Who called the ambulance? Like, what happened?
So after, and I was alert and talking until they put me into the hospital. I got hit like in the chest, like around my neck. So I was applying pressure. My daughter came in the room. I heard her screaming. Like I would never forget that scream ever. I calmed her down. I told baby, calm down. I need you to get your brother. I need you to go upstairs to the right. I said to the right because he was friends with the people upstairs above us. So I said, go to the right and call 911. So I guess I'm sorry, you said what?
How old was your daughter?
She's 13 now. She was 11 at
older now. Okay,
yes.
11. Big girl. Okay.
Yeah, the time, and she's very mature for her age. So she's not your average, you know.
But she went
Uh,
and called
yeah, she
911.
went and called 911, and but the neighbor downstairs came up. Her boyfriend had came upstairs. He heard
He
it.
heard the
He came. I'm
gunshots.
here to help. Yeah, he's like, I'm here to help. Where are you at? And I told him where I was at, and he, you know, came in there and he helped apply pressure on all the thousand of wounds that I had. You know, it was just probably blood everywhere, and he called 911 as well. And the operator said that somebody else has already called.
Mm.
So yeah.
So you're sitting there, and the ambulance comes. Where do you who has the kids? Do the kids get to go with you in the ambulance, or
No, I guess they must have stayed upstairs
okay?
um until, and it's so, my sister, remember all this is happening. My sister just had a baby on January 13th. So my sister is still at the hospital.
Mm.
My daughter didn't know my mom's number by heart, but she knew where my sister was at. So the cops called my sister at the hospital where she gave birth at to tell her that, you know, she needed to get in touch with my mom, and they couldn't really tell her all the details
Mm-hmm.
besides, you know, I had got shot, and yeah.
Wow.
And that was, yeah, you know, she just lost her dad.
Mm.
She's giving birth. Like, she know what just happened, like, you know, a couple of days ago when he tried to run me off the road because I was like right in front of their house, and he tried to charge after me at that point in time.
Mm.
That's when my brother-in-law and my brother ended up having to beat him up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you, at this point, you charge after me. They told you to get away from here with all of this, and you come charging towards me. So they're going to protect me.
Mm. Mm.
And it's so crazy because our family's not like that.
Right. Well, they. But in this
Oh,
situation, they're not given any choice.
yes. In that situation, they had no choice. And I think that's probably another reason why he probably tried it, because he knows that, you know, my brothers, they're not like, not gangsters, and like they don't, you know, they're not out there shoot 'em up, bang bang.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing he does know, that my brothers will protect, you know, their family.
Right.
And my brothers, they may be smart, they may be intelligent, but they also don't play, especially when it comes to like me. Like, I'm like the mom of the family, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like people were like so shocked, like, is that to Tyra? At all, Tyra? Like, no, you're lying.
Right.
Like, I was shocked too. I'm still shocked
Right.
to this day. Like
I'm
every time.
shocked, and I'm just now meeting you, and I'm shocked.
Yes.
Like, was this something? I mean, like, I don't know, Tyra. This was. It's just still mind blowing to me that your baby daddy comes to your house and shoots you 8 times. Yeah. Do you feel like in your heart, in your gut, that he was trying to kill you, or that he just wanted to hurt you and scare you?
Oh no, he tried to kill me because I saw I didn't know what bullets, what size they were. They told me I got shot with the 45. Okay. Didn't
What does
know.
that mean?
Yeah, didn't know what that mean until one of the bullets like was surfaced on my chest, and my son was always on my chest, and he was like just nicking it. And I just asked him, could they take it out? So the doctor removed the bullet, and I saw how big of caliber bullet that was. And I was like, oh yeah, like he definitely tried to kill me, and it was nothing but God. And he shot me 8 times.
8
like
times. What
it
made
wasn't no scare. I'm sorry, you said what?
What do you think made him stop? Like, what made him stop and leave?
He probably ran out of bullets. I don't know. I think he just I think he ran out of bullets or what. I'm thinking in my head, if he didn't use all of the bullets or shoot me all those times, he would have went after my daughter.
Mm.
You know, just because of why tell her, you know, to go back in her room and do it. Yeah, I think he would have went after her. So I would gladly take those 8 bullets again from my child.
Yes, honey. Oh my God, yes. Did you know after he shot you 8 times, you said you were conscious? Did you know at that time that you didn't have any feeling below your waist, and that you would maybe you didn't know any of that
No,
at that time, right?
it was just the adrenaline, like so much. Like it's like I felt the first like 3 or 4 shots, and after that, everything else, it was just like I just kept hearing the bang, 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 and I kept hearing me saying like stop, stop. I kept hearing my own self. Like I couldn't really hear anything else or feel anything else. It just was like, for one, I can't believe this is happening. And like my prayer was, God, please do not let me die. Like I don't have enough life insurance for both of my kids because I just had my son and I didn't have time to put him on my life insurance policy because I was dealing with my stepdad and him
Right.
dying. So I never had time to do that.
Oh,
So I would never forget that prayer. That's the first thing that I said. Like I don't have enough life insurance for both of them. So, which
mm,
is crazy. I tease my brother. I think it's still too soon for everybody to be laughing about it, but you laugh, keep from crying. I tell my brother all the time, like, aren't you happy, that I didn't die because, you would have had both of my kids. And I tell him happy, oh, I always tell him happy almost Father's
right,
Day.
right.
And he'd be like,
Would have
Tyra,
had these two
yeah,
kids.
yeah, because he has no kids. So, and he
Mm.
knows we've had conversations, before. Like, if anything were to happen to me, would you take first it was my daughter, and then I had my son. And after I had my son, I asked him, like, if something happened to me, will you, take my son too? And he said, yeah. So I joke with him and tease him about it, but he doesn't think anything is funny about that.
Oh yeah, and the reality of it, he's right. It's not. But you, like you
Yeah.
say, sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying. So you're in the hospital recovering. At what point did you find out that you were going to be bound to a wheelchair? And how were your emotions when you got that information?
So I would when I got to the hospital and they put me under, I guess it was really, really bad. I was on a vent for 3 days. My lungs collapsed. Um,
Mm,
it was bad. And I work in the same hospital that they brought me to.
okay.
So, and I still work there. So, and one of the supervisors of the hospital told me, 'cause one day I was in the ICU. She was like, Tyra, like we didn't know that you were going to make it. Like to see you then and to just see you now, it's like just a miracle.
It is a miracle.
But
You were shot 8 times.
yeah, close range. But honestly, what was going through my head when I first found out that I was paralyzed was that, you know, there's hope. I kept telling myself, okay, there's hope, there's hope, there's hope, there's hope. If you don't use it, you lose it. Like I took my training, my medical training, um, because I was a CNA, for like almost a decade, in which I should have been a nurse already because I know more than a nurse is. But yeah, so it's like I think that's what saved me too. It's because I knew what to do, you know, in that traumatic situation. But yeah, I kept telling myself like, okay, Tyra, you don't use it, you lose it. Push yourself, push yourself, push yourself. And it's like okay, it's like where you at after the first 18 months is that's where you're usually at. So you got 18 months to do this, to just work, work, work. So all this time while I was in the hospital, and in rehab, I had my son. He was, like I said, he was a newborn. He stayed with me there the whole entire time. So as I'm recovering in the hospital, I'm taking care of a newborn, trying to do this new life as, with a newborn to see how I'm going to do this. For me, just to get up and walk and do something, like to go get you a bottle, I can't do that anymore. Or just a simple task, I can't do that. And at this point in time, I only had one limb because a bullet went through and like shattered my scapula on my left shoulder, so I couldn't use my left side. So I was only can use my right arm. So I would do like push myself. Like I would do all 3 hours of therapy, um, the first half of the day, and just push myself as hard as I could just so I could get to the point where, okay, so I can walk. And then when the doctor told me, he was trying to be around the bush with it. I was like, just give it to me straight. Just, you don't have to spare my feelings. I don't want to, what are my chances of walking again? And he told me my chances of ever walking again are very slim. And I was like, well, I take slim because, God has the final say so.
Right.
So he can do anything. And I'm going to keep believing in that as long as I keep my faith and my hope and just keep my determination, it'll get there. Like, I'm starting to get a little bit of feeling back. I went back to work 6 months after I got shot. So 6 months after, I went back to work in a new role. Just because, for one, it's like I have to provide for my kids.
Right.
It's like I've always been that provider, and I've always been that person who never depended on other people, and people depended on me. So for the roles to change, that was hard to deal with too.
Yeah.
Um, just for me, actually being vulnerable and asking for help and saying that I need help was hard for me because I've always been the person to help others.
Right. And you've
Um,
been dependent.
yeah.
Right.
And, and so I wanted to just teach my daughter really through all of this. I wanted to lead by example. No matter, what life gives you, that you can, turn it around and make the best out of the negative situation, as long as you just keep God at the very focus, of it, that you can get through that dark. And that's what I just try to teach her. I'll try to teach her by showing her, by being the best example I can be. Okay, this happened to mommy. Okay, but what did mommy do in this situation?
Right.
Did she stay down? Did she just cry, feel sorry for herself, be depressed, and just be like, skip the whole world and skip that me and my brother are here and just go into a little shell like a hermit? No, I, grabbed it by the little reins like a little horsey, and I rode it.
Yeah.
And I literally just, yeah, like, they're my motivation. And just so I know that they're okay is perfectly fine with me. Like, even as a person who can't walk, as a disabled person, like, I don't get disability, I don't get assistance from the government, I get not a dime, nothing,
Is that
everything.
choice or is that because you didn't qualify? Is that
I i don't qualify because I make, to them I make too much. I don't qualify, but there's days when you just can't work. There's just days when your body is just like, no, you can't do this. You can't. Like, there's no way that you can even get out of the bed, let alone go to work, and let alone work 12 and a half hours. Because that's what I do. I work 12 and a half hours. There's no way that you can do that. But some days I like push myself through, and I just try and do it because I know what my end goal is. It's for my kids. But some days my body just won't. It just won't let me. And trust me, sometimes, like, during this time I've been injured, I had Bell palsy. Didn't know what that is. Thought I was having a stroke. Literally,
yeah.
I was like, the whole side of my face was like so drooped. It was so bad. Just because of, I guess, stress induced.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they said it was because I had chicken pox before. So that kind of, the stress kind of, like, I don't know what it did, but yeah, that, I had to go to the hospital for having like a really bad anxiety attack, where my heart rate like jumped up to like 160s, couldn't breathe, hyperventilating. It just came out of nowhere. Um, I can't like go around like big crowds. Um, I do try to do a lot of exposure therapy though. I have a really good therapist. And I try to do exposure therapy. And that's kind of helped a lot too, because I just throw myself in there and just do it. But I still can't go, I don't know how to say this without sounding crazy. But my friends know exactly what I'm talking about. I can go around black people. I love my black people. I love them. I love them. We are one of the most intelligent, beautiful races ever created. But
There's a
I
but.
can't do the hoodlums. The I'm trying to say it political
Girl,
correct. So, but
I get it.
when you with your friend, I can't do the shoot 'em up bang bangs. Or you walking around with a gun on your way? I can't do that. It's
Mm-mm,
just I just can't. And it's
mm-mm.
then against our race. It's just I can't do that. It's
Yeah.
just and I don't know why, because my ex was that type of person. Wasn't a shooter shoot up bang bang type of person. It's just the guns in general. Like, I don't let my son doesn't play with toy guns, Nerf guns, water guns, nothing. You can get a bow and arrow.
What
Okay.
happened to you has shaped and changed the way you look at things and the way the way you feel about things. It's understandably so. You
Yeah.
you were shot 8 times at close range by your son's father, someone at one point who you were considering, sharing a life with,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
After after 4 years, and then boop, there it goes.
mm, mm,
Crazy how people turn when they don't get the things that they want. And it goes back to his mom. This isn't an excuse for him. I would never make an excuse for him, but I would try to understand.
right.
This comes from his mom not showing him the love and the attention that he needed growing up. His mom let him go to foster care and didn't come to get him because of she was, too busy,
Doing her.
get yeah, yeah. And so he feels like, I had to prove to him something, or he had to do something to see what my reaction was going to be, just to prove. And that's just, and that came from his relationship with his mother.
Yeah, he had his own abandonment issues.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. That's why I was like, my son would never, ever, ever know that. Even like, I'm such a good mom, even to my daughter before then. Like, my son, like, you could tell that he is 110% love.
Yeah.
Like, he's not missing out on anything. He probably get tired of me saying I love you too much.
And
I'd be like,
he's
I love
what?
you. He'd be like,
He's
ooh.
2 now.
He just turned 3 in November.
Okay,
Turned three
he's
in
3.
November. He is so smart. So smart. My best friend was just telling me, he was just sitting over having a whole conversation with me.
Yeah.
He
And he's so clueless about what happened to his mom. Thank God,
Yes, but
he doesn't have the visual or the memory probably like your daughter does.
nope. But he has noticed, he has seen pictures of me standing, and he's like, "Mommy, look, you're standing." Yeah,
Ah,
I'm like, he like, when I tell you he's smart and he's putting two to two together. He can put two. He's very intelligent. He was like, "Mommy, look, you're standing." And the first time he said that, like, I just broke down. It's
yeah.
like, I'm really gonna have to explain to my son
What
what happened
happened?
and why mommy's not standing, or why mommy can't, you know, do the things that, like when you went to go take pictures with Santa, like, I can't go and take pictures with you and Santa because I can't get up on the thing. It's not handicap accessible, or if you want to go on a hayride, like, I can't get on a hayride with you because it's not handicap accessible. It's not made for a wheelchair. Like, there's things that I can't do, or I have to take extra time to do because of a decision somebody else made.
What
That
is he charged with, Tyra?
So here in the state of Missouri, that red state,
Mm-hmm.
um, they do not do first degree murder or attempted murder. I'm sorry, they don't do attempted murder. Sorry, they don't do attempted murder. It's assault with a deadly weapon with attempt to seriously body harm or something like that. So he's get charged with like 2 counts of that, armed robbery, because, you know, he took my phone.
Mm-hmm.
He came in and just broke it in and just, you know, how are you going to get into my phone? It's a lot. But yeah, he took my phone and he got charged with something else. He got like 4 charges.
Okay.
And then, but this is how the system works. When he tried to run me off the road and did all of that, I made police reports, did all of that, did what I was supposed to do. You know, restraining orders. It's just a piece of paper. You know, it's
Right.
not an electric fence or anything like that to stop anybody. But yeah,
Mm.
you know, he has a history of stalking me and things like that. So we go to, after he shoots me, February. I guess he has a little court date. I'm still in the hospital. I don't get out the hospital until St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. He gets out on bond. They reduced his bond, and he gets out on bond on March the 5th. I I didn't know nothing about a court date, anything, so I can go for have a bond hearing or anything to testify or anything. He got out. So guess what happens when I get out and I find out he's out? Because I didn't find out he was out until like a day before I was about to get out of the hospital. He got out March the 5th, and this is now March 17th. I didn't find out till March 16th.
Mm-hmm.
So come to find out, he got out then. Next day, he was supposed to go to court on March the 31st, and they were going to plan on indicting him, right? To get him new charges, to get him back in there, things like that. But guess what happens? COVID. So everything shuts down. No court dates, no nothing. So guess who is out from March the 5th all the way to July 31st?
He was free.
He was free. Stalking, everything. And they was like, well, how can you prove that he was stalking you? Well, he has a history of doing that to me before, a lot of times, you know. And he had audacity to get a job 5 minutes away from kind of where I was staying at. And he lived like 30 minutes away from there instead of trying to find somewhere near where he stayed at.
Were you afraid?
Oh, heck yeah. I was totally afraid. That's why I live with my dad. I still was scared too, because it's like I live with my dad and I know my dad will protect me, but I don't want to put my daddy in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want anything to happen to my dad. Like, I'm the type of person, I could take this, what happened to me, but if something happens to my daddy, like, and then I knew it was,
You know?
yeah. And then if I knew it was my fault,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was terrified. I couldn't sleep. That's probably why I have insomnia now. But yeah, but so when he got back, he got indicted. He tried to have another bond hearing. I was able to testify at that. And you know what? I looked him dead in his soul. Exactly this is what you did to me. This is what happened. And yes, I'm scared if you get out. And yes, I'm scared for my kids, you know? So that I can just up and protect them like I used to, like I could have.
Right.
So yeah, I'm scared. I don't know what you're capable of now. I mean, I just don't.
Right.
So, you know, they took him in. You know, his bond was his request was denied. So he just, you know, stayed in jail. And then he tried to have another bond hearing again, had to go testify again. But at this point in time, I go to every single court date. So that judge is going to know who I am.
That's right.
And that I'm not playing about my life.
That's right.
I'm not playing about this part. This is not something that we're just going to push underneath the rug. This is not something that we're just going to put a tap on the back. Nothing. No, I am serious about this. And also, it gives me a chance to see the person who did this to me and handle those
Mm-hmm.
emotions, handles that stuff, what I'm feeling. So instead of me just going to court and testifying, seeing him for the first time, then I don't know what to say because I'm fluttered because I'm seeing him and I'm, everything is going. I'm preparing myself in doing that. But the audacity is the whole entire, every time I went to court, he's staring at me, trying to talk to me, everything. Like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Clearly
Like,
has some mental going on that, you know.
and he didn't do drugs. He didn't drink. Like, it's like, yeah, try to talk to me. Had the audacity to send me 3 emails in there, one on his birthday. Okay, that kind of messed me up. That caught me off guard. But I was like, you know what? My son's birthday and my birthday is coming up, you know? I'm pretty sure he's going to send one then.
And he did.
He did. He did. Had the audacity to tell us happy birthday, you know? And if I needed anything, I know how to get in touch with him. He still had my Cash App, had the audacity to do that. And then another one, the last one he sent me was the last straw for me. He told me if the prosecutors call, forget, what happened, don't answer, blase, blase, blase. These people, they're only trying to do this to keep, like he talking to Boo Boo the Fool or somebody. Like, it was crazy. Like, and then how the audacity to have his daughter, because he has another child. He actually has 2 other kids. One is like, she's like 23 or 24 now, and then another one, she's probably like 10 now. I think she's like 10 or 9.
And they know what he did to you. They know he shot you 8 times to try to kill you.
Well, they probably know he's in jail, but they don't think, he probably didn't say, he probably lied and said something because the youngest child's mom is the one who's keep trying to bail him out of jail. Like, you, or how stupid and ignorant are you? What?
Wow, honey.
It's to the point where I had to check. I literally was so angry. Like, I had to like really give my anger to God because I was just so angry. Like, I wanted his kids to feel what my kids have to feel. Why should they be over there just chilling? Even though he's in jail, well, my kids have to suffer from this trauma.
Yeah.
My son, he still jumps when he hears loud sounds. It scares him. He doesn't know why, but he does. It's like, so why does my kids have to go through this? I want your kids to suffer just as bad as mine.
Yeah.
I'm going to do an eye for an eye.
Yeah, that's the human. You're human. That's your human.
Like, I wanted that. I wanted to, if she ever came, if his other child mom ever came up to the jail, to literally, I don't care if I was in this wheelchair or not, roll over there and just knock her out. Like, you stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to do that so bad. But God told me, I gave you your peace.
Yeah.
I gave you your peace. Even though I've been through all of this, I'm at peace.
You're at peace.
I'm at
You
peace.
Can't put a price on that.
Yeah, you can't put a price
on that. So before we have to wrap this up, I have 2 other main questions for you, Tyra. One is, do you have someone helping you? Are you having to do everything on your own? Like, you're wheelchair bound. So are you able to take care of yourself? Are you able to bathe yourself and do everything for yourself, or do you have to have assistance?
Oh no, I am an independent person. I am a paraplegic. I'm not a quad, so I'm able to still move my hands, my upper body, still do stuff. So like, yeah, get myself my own showers, take care of I cook, I clean. Matter of fact, before we got on this call, I was in the kitchen mopping the floor, sweeping. Like, I still do it all. Like, I don't want him to take away the little bit of joy that I had, like doing stuff for my kids, cooking and cleaning, giving my son a bath, and just doing those little bitty things. So yeah, I still do all of that.
A heart smile. Oh my gosh. Have you given up on possibly love in the future?
Honestly, my thing is, God is going to have to send me an angel like he sent Joseph to tell him Mary was the one. Okay, God's gonna have to send me my angel to tell me that's gonna be my husband. But have I given up on it? No. Am I ready for it?
Not now,
No. No.
no.
Like
But
I
but
read
in
books, like
the future, you would be open to having love again.
yeah, like I have this book like right here by my bed, like a devotional, like prayers for your future husband. Like I do those things like that, and just and like working on myself. Communication is the best key. So just learning how to, like, when I do talk, communicating, but there's a lot coming with dating a person that is
Yeah,
paralyzed. You have to deal with a lot.
a lot.
Um, yeah, not only mentally but
Have to
physically.
be an angel, like you said. God will send you that right angel, though,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
when
most
it's
definitely.
time.
Yep.
When it's time. And my other question is, what would advice can you give to young women, even teenagers that are dealing with, what are the signs to look for? What type of advice would you give yourself prior to you being shot 8 times?
Listen to the red flags. Pay attention to those red flags. Don't be so private when it comes to who you're dating, because a lot of people I know, they don't want to bring people around until they get to. I remember my uncle sitting me across from the table, telling me to bring this person around, so they can fill them out first, just to see,
Mhm.
for a man, fill out another man. I was
Did
like,
you
no,
do it?
I don't. And no, I was like, no. I was like, I don't want people in my business. Like, no, not shit. Like, you ain't, especially not around my Randle side.
Yeah.
No, you got to come around this side. Look, only 2 people have been around that side, and that's it. Like, no,
Mhm.
like, and one was just because he was my daughter's father. That's it.
Right.
But I was like, no, you cannot. No. Um, so I did not do that, and I wish I would have.
Yeah.
So if you have people that are genuinely trying to help you and not just trying to be nosy and just trying to, you know, tell you like, yeah, but no, like my uncle, and he's a pastor as well, and he wants the best for me. He's like my second
That's
father.
right.
So listen to those red flags, bring them around so your family can fill them out, and listen to their
And
advice,
listen
because
there.
they've been there and done that.
That's right. Well, honey, I want you to know how grateful I am for your story. We could talk probably for another 2 hours because there's so many other things in my mind about what you went through. But we're going to save that because we have way more work to do with this project. And I'm going to get you on film and everything. So this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
And I just want to say I'm so grateful for you, being willing to be a part of this project. It's gonna change the lives of many, and your story is so
Yeah.
powerful, and God is going to use you and your testimony to help other women notice the signs, to help other women who have already gone through the abuse, being shot or stabbed, or there are women who've been set on fire by these men, and you know it's going to help others along the way, right?
Yeah.
You're leaving right now a legacy of your experience and your wisdom that you are acquiring through a very traumatic experience that you probably, had it not been for God, you wouldn't even be on this Instagram live today, right?
Most definitely. I always say there's no testimony without a
Yeah,
test.
he had another plan
Hmm.
for you. It's not normal, Tyra, for someone to be shot 8 times at close range and still be able to be on Instagram Live. That's not normal. He had another plan for your life. And I'm just so grateful that you are so vibrant, so beautiful. Your energy is infectious. I want you to know that. And I'm just so grateful that you're allowing God to use you to fulfill his purpose for your life.
Yes, most definitely.
So,
Most definitely.
so thank you.
No, thank you.
And for those of you watching tonight, thank you all so much. I didn't get to read all of your comments, but Tyra, they have been sending you love. They've been saying how great your energy is. You have a great spirit. My husband was on here saying how amazing your spirit is, how strong you are. You got so many people on here giving you so much love, and it's all deserved. right? It is so all deserved. You're like a superhero for a lot of people. Like, I'm 52, you're 31, but I mean, you are goals. Your strength and your courage and your ability to be like, look, this is what it is, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep this train moving. I'm gonna show my children that I have superpowers, because that's really what it is. I'm gonna show my children that you're not gonna stay down.
Mm-mm.
If your mama can be shot 8 times and I'm still able to bust a move and go to work and do what I have to do and keep a smile on my face, then anything is possible. And I mean anything, anything. You're an example of that. So
Thank you.
I want you to know that.
Thank you.
All right. So if anyone has a story that they want to share and be a part of this project, the website is www.trauma2Triumph.com. You can also email me your story. The email address is info@trauma2Triumph.com. What else? Anything else that I forget to tell you all? Tyra, you're an amazing woman. If you all want to follow her, she's on Instagram. Please make sure you follow her. This is probably not the end of her storytelling. I know it's not. I'm gonna try to get her to write a book, y'all. I just put that out there in the universe. And
I wrote 2 children books.
yes, look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You already got writing skills under your belt. We're gonna get this memoir out one day soon about what you went through in your journey. So thank you all so much for being a part of Trauma to Triumph, where we're going to heal millions through the sharing of our stories of how we've gone from trauma to triumph. I will be back again next Tuesday at 8:30, the first Tuesday of 2023. And that's when we are going to incorporate the first man. And he is an amazing man. I get to know him personally. So I can't wait. Next Tuesday, you all tune in at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for another episode of Trauma to Triumph. We're going to kick off 2023 with something very amazing. So, and you, Tyra, make sure that we stay in touch, because I'm going to be having a symposium and I want you a part of it. And I'll do what I have to do to make sure you get where you need to be for it. Okay?
Okay. Alrighty. I'm there.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, honey. And y'all, good night, everybody. This is going to be up on the YouTube channel in about an hour. So I'll send you the link, Tyra, so you can share with others, but it'll be edited and put on YouTube in about an hour.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Happy holidays and happy New Year too.
Right. Happy New Year's.
Yes.